Hello, I'm Marge. Welcome to This Little Life. Today, I'm going to talk about how much it really costs to live here in Dumaguete City. So I've been living here for 3 years, almost 4, and I want to share how much my bills are and my spending, just so you have an idea if you're already planning on living and or moving here in Dumaguete City. So just for a little context, I live a little bit on the outskirts of Dumaguete. I'm in between Dumaguete and Valencia, so I'm living in the border. But technically, my address is Valencia already, which is a neighboring town to Dumaguete City. And I'm sure if you're already doing your research on living here in Dumaguete, you've heard of Valencia. A lot of foreigners, a lot of people who retire choose to live in Valencia because it's a little bit going up the mountain, so the weather is generally cooler and there are a lot more trees around. It's a little bit more peaceful than the middle of the city, but it's not that far away. It's like maybe a 30 minutes drive, 20 minutes drive. Okay, so let's start with housing options. There are a lot of options here. So there is the bed space. There's also studio apartment, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms, family homes, like old houses, not old houses, but like a literal house that you can rent. Let's start off with the bed space. Whenever I say bed space, it is a bunk space. You're renting a space inside a room with other people and you sleep on a bunk. This option is great for students or for workers who don't mind living with other people. The price range is usually around 1,200 to 3,500. I believe I've seen dormitories, especially near Siliman. The better the dorm is, the higher the rent is, but you're still gonna share it with people. For studio apartments, the prices that I've seen so far are around 3,500 up to 12,000 pesos. I even saw a studio apartment for 30K, but it's really fancy. It looks like this Japanese minimal apartment. It's really cute. If you want something luxurious, there are options for you. Bedroom apartments, which is what I have right now. So this apartment is a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom, a space at the back for laundry. We pay 12,000 a month for this apartment. I'm just gonna say it off the bat, Dumaguete and neighboring municipalities have really higher rent compared to my sister who lives in Pampanga. She lives in Magalang, Pampanga, and her rent for a 2-bedroom apartment just like this is 6,000 pesos. That's half the price. That's actually pretty normal here nowadays, especially with very strong tourism. Rent here can get a little bit expensive. This apartment was brand new. I'm the first occupant for this apartment. That gave me a little bit of confidence in like, okay, it's worth it because I'm the first one to ever use the apartment. This is 12,000 pesos. That's excluding utilities. Usually when you do like the dorm situation, the electricity and water is usually free and Wi-Fi. I'm gonna talk about utilities later. You can find apartments here for as low as 3,500 for a private kind of apartment, up to 30. That includes houses with like larger houses. I'm very fortunate to have this apartment. My mom and her partner again are paying for everything, for my utilities and for my rent. If it was just me and Blue, would probably be renting a small space near the city because it's a little cheaper. I'd probably choose a 3,500 decent private apartment studio, like literally just a bedroom. Like this bedroom is bigger than what I will find. If you are planning on moving here, you can look at listings right away. You can go to Facebook Marketplace and search. There are also groups. I recommend you to join the Facebook group Bid for Me Dumaguete. Before you move in, there are requirements. It's very normal here not to pay 1 month advance and 2 months deposit. So say if your rent is 5,000, before you move in, you're gonna have to pay 15. 1 month advance, 2 months deposit. Okay, let's move to utilities. Electricity. In my opinion, electricity here isn't that expensive compared to when I lived in Pampanga. I pay around 4,500, but that's actually on a little bit of the high end of electric consumption. I do have air condition and this is mostly on like all the time. I only turn it off like right now in the mornings when it's not too hot yet, but it's usually on like maybe 22 hours a day. And I have a fridge and an air fryer I often use, a rice cooker, a washing machine. The TV is almost always on, And I have my own electronics. My baby's playing. What else? Oh, we have a heater in the shower. And I also have a little kettle heater. And what else do I have? Electronics, laptop, phones, electric fans. Even though, because we only have one aircon, and the aircon only fills in this room. So whenever I open the door, it needs a little bit more push. So we use the fans usually, and it's not even enough. So yeah. But again, that depends on you and how you live. If you don't mind, the weather here, that's okay. Yeah. There are rainy days when I turn this off because it's already cold. That is my usual. My usual is around 3,500 if it's rainy months and I don't need aircon, and 4,500 if I use it all the time. Water bill. The water bill here, we're actually, even though I live technically in Valencia, our water comes from Dumaguete City. And since it's a little far away, my minimum monthly payment is around 360. That's the minimum payment requirement. Even if you use less than that, you still have to pay 360 a month. But my payment, I usually pay around 450 to 500 a month. That's my usual consumption. And since, again, I'm a little far away from the city, at 11 o'clock, the water, I can't use the water anymore. They turn it off, and it comes back on at 4 a.m. So if you live a little bit far from the city, you're gonna have to expect that you can't use the water at certain hours of the night, which is fine for me because I go to sleep at like 10 and wake up at like 8 a.m. So it's not that big of a deal. My landlord specifically told me that instead of connecting to Valencia, they connected to Dumaguete because in rainy seasons, the water gets a little mucky. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, but there are apartments with fully furnished apartments. I got mine bare, so everything that's here except for this cabinet, I bought all of my furniture in here. If you are looking for a place to stay for a few months and you don't really want to invest in furniture, there are options where they have semi-furnished or fully furnished apartments. Those can get a little bit on the higher price, around like 12,000 minimum. Okay, back to utilities. My internet plan is Converge, and I pay 1,650 a month. And so far, I haven't had any problems. The signal is really good, it's really fast, and their customer service is one chat away on Facebook. I really like my experience with Converge compared to when I was in Pampanga. I think we were using PLDT. Food and groceries. So my situation is we do all of our groceries in Robinson's Mall, which is pricey. I'm gonna tell you that. It's pricey, everything's expensive. And I have no control over that because my mom does her groceries and we just go with her and she buys us groceries. I know a lot of people who have a budget of 3,000 pesos for a month because they buy all of their food in the market, in the local market. If you don't mind going to the market, there's like a huge market here in Dumaguete. If you don't mind going there and taking your time, you can save a lot of money. But yeah, it really depends on your diet. Like if you like a little bit more of processed and packaged foods, then it is going to be a little bit more expensive because you're gonna have to buy it in the mall. But there are also a lot of local grocery stores like Hypermart, Sasha Mart, stuff like that. There's even a city mall here, but they have like SM products inside. You can find almost anything that you need. Strawberries are a little scarce. Whenever I do have the money of my own, I do buy from our local market here in Balugo, Valencia. I buy fish there and vegetables and sometimes snacks. My monthly spending usually on just food to cook is around 10,000 pesos because we usually do groceries and we spend like 7,000 pesos, and then I buy like from time to time I buy like vegetables and stuff like that in the market. And my budget already includes like my food, my cousin's food, and my baby's. It also actually includes our toiletries, shampoo, laundry soap, even baby's diapers. It's already in that 10K. If you are a single person and you're only feeding yourself and you like to cook, you're gonna save a lot of money. Eating out. So Carinderia here, which is the local eatery, it's actually very cheap. I remember when I was a student, I would have a meal for 25 pesos. And I feel like now, since I'm not a student anymore, I feel like you can eat for like 50 to 100 pesos a meal. And that's good. It's gonna fill you up and it's gonna get you through the day if you don't want to cook. Of course, it's much cheaper if you cook. But yeah, eating outside, there are a lot of options here in Dumaguete. Since Dumaguete is a growing city, there's always like a new restaurant, a new business around the corner, something to try. And that can get really exciting if you're the type of person who likes to eat out and try new things. The food culture here in Dumaguete is really good, I can tell you that. Whenever I go out to eat, I'm never disappointed. I'm never like, oh, I should have just eaten at home, because it's good. Transportation. In the middle of the city, mode of transportation is tricycles, and the minimum payment as of 2025 is 15 pesos per head. If you get a little bit further from the downtown, from the city, they kind of charge you a little bit more. So one thing you'll notice when you come here in Dumaguete is there are a lot of motorcycles around, because that's actually the main transportation for a lot of people here, especially people who live outside of the city, because there are only very few options. If you want to go outside the city, there are jeepneys. Going here to Valencia, there are jeepneys, and they don't even go to like little corners. Like where I live right now, I have to walk 5 to 10 minutes and then wait for a jeepney, which they call easy ride here. Sometimes it takes like an hour or two to wait for a jeepney, which is not ideal if you're the kind of person who don't like to wait in the heat. I used to do that before my mom got a car. If you are planning on moving here, it's a good idea to rent or get yourself a motorcycle, get yourself a license. Even an electric bike would do you really good. I don't have a very good experience when it comes to public transportation here, because if you live like really far away from the city, tricycles are not going to accommodate you if your budget is only like the minimum fee. You have to pay like 30, 50, sometimes 100 before they even consider to drive you. Some of the tricycles here are very picky, and I've experienced that a lot, and it's kind of frustrating because they don't tell you how much. They just ask you, oh, how much are you gonna pay? And if you say, oh, I'm gonna pay this amount, and they don't like it, they're like, no. So yeah, I highly recommend you get your own vehicle. There are a lot of places here where you can rent motorcycles. If you do have a car, our usual budget for gas is around 2,000 to 4,000 a month, depending on how far we go, how often we drive. I want to talk about healthcare here. There is one public hospital in Dumaguete City, and I do not recommend going there if you have health problems. They do offer free checkups. I've done it a couple of times before. The line just gets a little long because a lot of people from all over, not just in Dumaguete, but a lot of municipalities really travel there just to get checkups or get treated. And yeah, they do offer free checkups in the mornings. Whenever we do get checkups in private hospitals like Silliman University, Ace Doctors, and Polymedic, we usually pay around 700 to 1,200. That's the price range of each checkup. There are a lot of stores here actually, since I've mentioned before, Dumaguete is a rising city. There are a lot of new businesses around the corner all the time. There are a lot of gyms here too. I don't go to the gym personally, but I see a lot of gyms around, especially in the middle of the city. So if you want to live in the middle of the city, it's very accessible. There are a lot of coffee shops, fast food. There's even this new Starbucks. It's huge. How many Starbucks do we have right now? There are 2 Starbucks here. 2 McDonald's? Or 3 McDonald's? 3 McDonald's. A lot of Jollibees. I can't even count. There's only 1 KFC, and it's inside Robinson's. There are 2 Greenwich, and there's Shakey's, I believe. There's still a lot of fast food that I don't see here that I kind of miss. There are no Burger Kings. There are no Krispy Kreme. There is Dunkin' Donuts and Mr. Donuts. There are a lot of local bakeries here that are so good. That's one thing that I actually don't find a lot in other cities that I've lived in. I feel like life in general in the Philippines is getting pricier and pricier, and Dumaguete is no different. I can say that it can be affordable if you make that conscious choice of making it affordable, like choosing a cheaper apartment, using less electricity, less water. It's hard to tipid here. It's hard to save up here because again, there are a lot of new shops new experiences. But if you don't mind the money, if you don't mind spending, then this might be a great place for you. Just a fun fact, in 2025, Dumaguete is actually the #1 safest place here in the Philippines. I feel very safe here personally, but that's just a comparison to like other places that I've lived in before, and I've lived in the worst places ever. I lived in Payatas for a few years. I lived in this shabby hut, and our lock was only like it was like a piece of wood that you would like rotate, and that was how you locked your door. So yeah, a comparison to that, I feel really safe here. Even though I am planning on moving next year back to Pampanga to my sister so I can get my shit together. I really want to move to Baguio. Personally, I feel like my chapter is done here in Dumaguete. I don't have any more to give and I don't have anything else to take. So far, living here was really good. Like, I'm really gonna miss the city. I'm really gonna miss the street food here. I'm gonna miss the people here. They're so nice, and it's the first time that I've ever lived in a place where you were never bullied about your accent and about your choice of language. I remember growing up in Manila and in Pampanga, I would always get bullied for simply speaking English or speaking Tagalog or speaking with an accent. Like, I have a Bisaya accent because I am Waray. My family is from Tacloban. Here, no one has ever judged me for that. It's actually very normal here to speak English. People usually speak Bisaya and English here. In Tagalog, it's kind of a little hard for them to speak. I've never been bullied here. Like, there are a lot of kind people here. Maybe that's why it's labeled the gentle people. Home of the gentle people, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, it's true. I feel like if you're planning on moving and living here, it's worth the experience. It's worth it to experience the chill vibe, the slowness, even though there's a fast-paced city. You go to a corner of the city and you already see trees. I feel like you get the best of both worlds here because you're easily accessible to beaches. There are a lot of beaches around, and you're easily accessible to a more mountainy, foresty kind of place, which is Valencia. I do recommend Dumaguete for students. There are a lot of universities here with really high standards and really good reputation. This is a really good place to retire. A lot of foreigners retire here, and for very good reasons. Let me know if you already live here, how much you spend on a monthly basis. Like, tell me your monthly bills. Maybe we can compare, and a lot of people can compare as well. I just want to say good luck. Good luck to you. Good luck on your research. Good luck on your journey here in Dumaguete City. And I hope to see you around before I move out. That is it for this video. If you like this video, please do consider subscribing. I usually make vlogs and try my best to upload once a week. I'll see you again soon.